Charlotte Hannibal thought that she had a bad bout of Fletcher's flu, but as her condition worsened, she found out she had contracted meningitis, an infection that confined her to hospital for 4 months and caused her to lose both her legs, 5 fingers and the need of a kidney transplant.
Well, Charlotte, who is now campaigning for all young people to receive the meningitis vaccination, joins us now, as you can see, along with Dr. Hilary. We talk about Fletcher's flu, which isn't, of course, a medical condition, but it's what people say, because you go to university, you mix with people from all over the country, sometimes all over the world. Everyone brings their own bugs, and you catch something. What did you think you'd caught?
Just flu, literally just flu. I think when you're in that environment and everybody's dropping like flies and everybody's got a cold or flu or tonsillitis, and so you're just expecting to get something anyway, and so when you do get a sore throat you think, oh, it's fine, I'll sleep it off, and it's not only until about 48 hours later then that I was being put into an induced coma and things got serious, and so you think if somebody can miss that and end up losing their life, for the sake of that you need to start learning the symptoms.
But it escalates really quickly.
Absolutely,
as well.
yeah.
I mean, that's the shocking thing, because on the one hand you've got achy limbs and you're feeling a little bit like you've got a cold, but then to go from that, as you say, and you're in a coma, trying to spot those symptoms is what's really tricky.
That's it, and I think because it took the medical professionals 10 days before they realised that I had meningitis, and so if you think an average man on the street trying to spot that, it just becomes so much more escalated, and so that's why we're trying to push out the symptoms and make sure that people start to learn them.
Charlotte, it must be absolutely devastating for you.
It's a really strange experience to try and describe, because I've come back from it quite well, and that's due to all the support that I've got home, but there's so many people that have lost lives and have lost so much more than I have, and so you think, yes, I've been through a lot, but it could have been so much worse.
And were you aware that there was even a meningitis vaccine available for older people?
Well, there wasn't at the time. It came into action, I think, about 6 months after I got my case of meningitis, and so that's the unfortunate thing, and that's why I keep pushing it with people I know that are going off to university and that sort of thing, that it's ready and available, it's absolutely free, and for the sake of one needle it takes about 30 seconds and it's done.
You're very proudly wearing your ambassador's lanyard for the charity that you're supporting, and it's incredibly important, isn't it, Hilary, that Charlotte can highlight this, because all of us think about meningitis in little children.
Yes.
And all of the tests that we talk about regularly, we forget that something as simple as what might feel like flu could escalate.
Absolutely. Well, Charlotte's being a fantastic ambassador, very positive, very knowledgeable. But what she's saying is, look, she was an ordinary student. This could happen to anybody. She was fit and healthy, and it comes on out of the blue. So the vaccination is now available. It's been available since last summer, and it protects against 4 strains of meningococcal meningitis, that nasty bacteria, which 10% at least of students carry quite normally in their noses and throats, but can pass it on to other people. We don't quite know why some people are carriers and some people aren't, but that's the state of affairs. But if they're all vaccinated, then we reduce the carrier rate and we certainly reduce the number of cases. But meningococcal type W is really nasty, which is the one that you had. It's got a 10% mortality. 10% mortality. And this vaccine covers that. But currently only about a fifth of university entrants are having the jab, and it's there. They need to get it done.
And it's safe?
Absolutely. You know, you might get a bit of redness at the vaccinations site and feel a bit rough for a day or two, but
that's nothing
that's
compared
small
to...
fry compared to what could happen.
So talk us through, because sadly this led to some amputations, didn't it?
Yes,
So what have you had?
So I've had 2 below-knee amputations, both sides, and I walk on prosthetic legs. I've also had all the fingers from my left hand taken, and so now I wear a prosthetic.
So that's actually a prosthetic hand?
It is, yes. It's
very clever.
It's been funded by a charity, the Glovers of London, and so that's been such a huge development for me at the moment, and it means that I can disappear in a crowd again now, which
so
is
your hand, and what you're doing is you're going to show us actually how that works. So
I'm going to put it on my knee because I don't know what people are going to be able to see. But yeah, so that's been the most recent prosthetic that I've been able to pick up, and it's fantastic. It means that I just completely disappear in a crowd now.
And people wouldn't notice?
No, and that's it. And now my walking's back up to speed again, and it just means that it's one more thing that I can tick off the list that makes it a bit more normal, makes life more normal.
And what do people say when you say what you've been through? You're back and studying and you're doing everything that you were hoping to do. What do people say? Are they still unaware, even though they know what you've been through, of the risks?
I think it's hard to understand because it's been such a long journey. It's been about 18 months now that I've been going through this sort of thing. And there was a lot to cram in that short space of time, a lot that happened. And so it is hard to come to terms with. But I think at the end of the day, people are quite in awe about it, which is amazing. It makes me feel fantastic. It makes me feel like I've done a good job with what's happened. So.
Well, you have, and like Hilly was saying, if it's only 1 of 5 at the moment and it's perfectly safe and it can make a difference and protect from 4 strains of meningitis, why wouldn't they go out and get that vaccination?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
Yes,
thank you.
Yeah, that's just absolutely bowled over by how brilliant that your hand is, just sitting on your knee there.
I'm just waiting for Halloween so I can start like throwing it at
Really
trick or treat.
enjoying it.
That's going to be the next thing.
No damage to your sense of humour.
Yeah,
We love
no,
that.
Charlotte, thank you. and
Thank
Hilary as
Thank
well.
you.
All of a sudden, the door was open, and before I knew it, I was on the side of the road,
Yeah.
bleeding a lot.
And Ben, you were on the coach, weren't you? Because you'd been on the same tour, and you were upstairs. What did you know about Seb and what had happened?
Well, I knew nothing. Well,